First tonight on Our News, live at 7, the returning officer talks complexities of the upcoming by-election. Hear about some of the logistical challenges that come along with this upcoming vote. This as the by-election campaigning continues. PLP coordinators telling residents what to expect. Plus, a man is gunned down on Key West Street and another injured as investigators now try to piece together the circumstances of this latest killing. Then in Our News at 7:30, our coverage of the upcoming by-election continues as polling divisions are now published. Our News live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to Our News live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kendino Knowles. Returning officer for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Leonard Dames Jr. says the upcoming by-election in that constituency will be a challenge considering two islands are involved, with close to 6,000 voters registered across some 14 polling divisions. Dames speaking with Our News on nomination day about the complexities of the upcoming vote.
I must say with a by, it is a bit tedious, a lot of logistical work, in particular here in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini, because you know Bimini, we have to fly over there, so there are a lot of logistics with that, I must say.
5 candidates are vying for the seat: the PLP's Kingsley Smith, the FNM's Bishop Ricardo Grant, COI's Lincoln Bain, and independent candidates Tennille Burrows and Daquan Swain. And we're learning more about the 14 polling divisions where voters will cast their ballots in the upcoming vote. We'll tell you about them in just a bit. But now to the Progressive Liberal Party and its campaigning efforts. Coordinators spoke with Berthany McDermott about what residents can expect.
He done win. He's a good man for Bimini and West End. We love him, and he will be our next MP for Bimini.
With nomination day now out of the way, the Progressive Liberal Party is turning up the heat on the ground in West Grand Bahama and Bimini. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Michael Darville is heading campaign efforts in Bimini. He tells us they will have more boots on the ground in that area.
Now we have our plans where we're going to up the pace, and we're going to do more door-to-door, and we're going to have more social events on Bimini to get our message out. We feel very confident that Bimini is going to bring the PLP in, and we're going to get our candidate elected, and Bimini is going to turn to the PLP in a big way.
And the same can be said for West Grand Bahama. Paco Deal is a part of the campaign team there. He says their presence will be felt in the area.
You know, we have a lot of small pockets that we need to get into. We have a lot of people in 8 Mile Rock, in particular, that is in dire need of help. So we'll be extending our hands to offer as much assistance as we possibly can. And so, you know, it's crunch time now. So we will be putting an extra foot forward.
PLP candidate Kingsley Smith will go head-to-head with Bishop Ricardo Grant for the Free National Movement, Coalition of Independents leader Lincoln Bain, Tennille Burrows, and Daquan Swain. Political parties kicked into high gear following the death of the late Obi Wilchcombe, who represented the area. Darville says the plan is to continue the plans left by Wilchcombe.
Before Obi died, there was a lot of plans in place to address some of the social needs in Bimini, to create employment, to create entrepreneurship. All of these are incorporated in Kingsley 10-point plan, and the residents of Bimini could be assured that under the PLP, we are going to ensure that many of the things that are currently in place will continue. We want to let them know that this is a by-election. This is not a general election. The PLP want to continue its mandate and deliver what we started, and we intend to push hard to make sure that Kingsley Smith is our candidate.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks a lot, Berthany. Our coverage of the upcoming by-election continues tonight. Be sure and stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for more on the polling divisions, as well as what some are saying about the Coalition of Independents' chances in the race. Well, investigators are combing the scene of another homicide Monday night, this time on Key West Street. Police tell us one man was killed while another is in stable condition in hospital. Police Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Kristen Skipping says the deadly gunfire erupted around 8:30 last night.
Information received is that the deceased was along with a second male who pulled in front of this residence in a dark-colored vehicle. Both men exited the vehicle and opened fire on a male who was standing on the side of a residence in the yard just behind me. During the exchange, or during the barrage, I should say, of gunshot, the deceased was shot by his own accomplice.
Skipping says the accomplice left the area. The victim, said to be a dark man in dark clothing, fully masked with gloves, he was found lying in front of a home. Officer in charge of the area, Chief Superintendent Michael Johnson Jaswell Hanna, said they will do their part to ensure proper enforcement in the area.
This week I'm up on rotation for the head of the secure city operation. So we have any number of units on the road this evening, and we are going to be responsive in preventing incidents from happening. But when you have incidents of this nature, you have to have all aspects of the criminal justice system functioning. But we are going to do our part, and the results that you see on the streets with our enforcement efforts. We also have Operation Ceasefire, and we have our saturation patrols, and we like the numbers, we like the direction it's going.
All right, and just for clarification, that was officer in charge of the area, Chief Superintendent Jaswell Hanna. Just after that deadly shooting, $3,000 worth of illegal drugs were taken off the streets. Officers from Operation Ceasefire and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force confiscating 2 pounds and 10 ounces of marijuana after searching vacant property on Key West Street. That's where they reportedly found a black bag filled with several packages of marijuana. While police found the drugs, they haven't made any arrests and are still searching for a suspect. Wendy's is back in the news tonight as Atlanta is holding firm on its stance about the fast food chain coming to Paradise Island. The resort saying now that one of the biggest concerns is traffic. Before we get to that story, it's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Happy Tuesday, Greg.
Yeah, happy Tuesday to you too. And I hope you enjoyed the weather out there today.
I certainly am enjoying the weather.
Beautiful, beautiful
the
conditions.
The breeze is good. Feels better than the sun we've had all this past summer.
Well, we're going to keep those temperatures for at least the remainder of the week before things start to pick up and get a little warmer. But it's pretty nice on the outside. Temperatures comfortable, 80 degrees with a few clouds. East-northeast winds at 10 miles per hour. Your feels-like temperature. Very comfortable, 79 degrees on the outside. Temperatures right now across the northwest Bahamas, 76 in Freeport, 78 in Marsh Harbor and in Great Harbor Key. Then we pick up 79 over in Alistown, Bimini, and in Nicholstown, Andros. Governor's Harbor, you guys were also 78. Central Bahamas, 78 in Kemps Bay and in Coopertown, San Salvador, 79 in Arthurstown, Cat Island. And we pick up a pair of 80s in Georgetown and in Deadman's Key. Into the southeast Bahamas, temperatures near the 80-degree mark there. 81, Duncantown, Ragged Island, Delectable Bay. Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, 80. 79 in Abrahams Bay, 82 in Providenciales, and also Matthew Town, Inagua. You guys are also 82 at this hour. Satellite and radar composite, nothing to talk about out there. It's, just beautiful. High pressures in charge. We had a weak surface trough that was hanging out near the southeast Bahamas. That's basically falling apart. You notice some little streaks of white moving just to the east of the Bahamas. That's high-level clouds connected to a jet stream on the northern side of the high ridge, the ridge of high pressure. That ridge will stretch across us for the next several days, and eventually our winds be turning more towards east to southeast, so we see a slight warming by the end of the week. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come in our news, the never-frozen beef maker still making headlines. This as Atlanta's top executive says their biggest concern about Wendy's on Paradise Island is traffic. This as the Hotel Association sounding off again on high power bills. And a freak accident on Grand Bahama now under investigation. An elderly woman runs straight into a gas station storefront. An eyewitness account of how it all happened when our news returns. Last week, images flooded social media after a Wendy's food truck appeared at their proposed location on Paradise Island amid some ongoing pushback to their arrival. Atlanta's president and managing director Audrey Oswald says her primary concern is whether the plaza's infrastructure can handle the high traffic.
Our biggest concern is the traffic. There's already a lack of parking in that shopping center for the existing businesses. And our concern is, especially for our team members when they're coming to and from work, that the outgoing roadways onto the bridge are not held up, that they're not held up and they're not backed up due to the lack of parking.
Oswald says this is especially concerning during peak hours for the small island and adds that Paradise Island Tourism Development Association is currently working on a traffic study.
When change of shift, it's if anybody is familiar with PI and you come out there during change of shift now, you'll see that there's a lot of traffic and sometimes it's backed up for quite some time, and we're just concerned because of the lack of parking that the shopping center already has and the lack of parking at the old Scotiabank site that it'll just back up even more. Which is why we're through PITA, the Paradise Island Tourism Development Association, has engaged a traffic study, and we hope to have the results back quickly.
All right, the summer season, which sees a peak in power demand, may be over, but the hotel industry apparently hasn't seen any relief from high power bills. That's according to the president of the Bahamas Hotel and Tourism Association, who says the price of power is one of many challenges they continue to face. Bethany McDermott has the story.
As power bills decline for many, Bahamas Hotel and Tourism Association President Robert Shanty says hotels aren't seeing the drop-off. Sands adds the concern remains especially for those hotels in the Family Islands, as he says many properties were hit with about a 100% increase in power bills.
Reliable, consistent, cost-effective pricing in terms of electricity remains a significant challenge, particularly for hotels within the Family Islands. The rates are coming down slowly. They have not increased this month, so we have to see what happens by the end of the year.
Now, many hotels are looking to move towards renewable energy in hopes of bringing down costs. Additionally, Sands revealed electricity is the second largest expense, noting that this summer has been an anomaly. But that's not the only challenge for the hotel industry. He says the cost of doing business is also a concern.
We have to look at cost of food, cost of imports, cost of goods and services, etc. And certainly that's where the entrepreneurial Bahamian, I think, comes into play, where they may be able to impact on helping to reduce some of these costs. Because at the end of the day, unless the visitor perceives the vacation stay as being value for money, we're not going to see the levels of growth that we're going to see in the future.
Coupled with cost increases, crime remains paramount as everyone wants to feel safe when traveling.
Safety is one of the principal reasons why persons come to this country, and we have to continue to support the armed forces and continue to do individual work in that area to ensure that our visitors feel and residents feel safe.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as the UN chief says Gaza is becoming a graveyard for children. This as Israel says there will be no ceasefire in the war with Hamas without the release of Israeli hostages. And from the region, we'll tell you about a land regularization program in Grenada, giving citizens ownership of Crown land. When Our News returns. This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres said on Monday the protection of civilians must be paramount in the conflict between Israel and Palestinian militants Hamas, warning that the Gaza Strip was becoming a graveyard for children. Palestinian health authorities said the death toll in Gaza exceeds 10,000. Israel has vowed to wipe out Hamas, which rules the Gaza Strip after the militants killed 1,400 people and took more than 240 hostages in an October 7th attack. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu told ABC News on Monday there would be no ceasefire without the release of hostages by Hamas. Netanyahu's comments came days after he appeared to rebuff U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's calls for a humanitarian pause when he said there would be no let-up in Israel's operations unless there is a deal on the hostages.
As far as tactical little pauses, an hour here, an hour there, we've had them before. I suppose we'll check the circumstances in order to enable goods, humanitarian goods to come in, or our hostages, individual hostages to leave. But I don't think there's going to be a general ceasefire. It's not that I don't think. I think it will hamper the war effort. It'll hamper our effort to get our hostages out, because the only thing that works on these criminals in Hamas is the military pressure that we're exerting.
Former U.S. President Donald Trump complained of unfair treatment in a defiant and rambling testimony on the witness stand at the civil fraud trial about his New York business on Monday. His actions prompted the judge at one point to threaten to cut his testimony short. Unlike the 4 other criminal cases Trump faces, this civil trial does not threaten to put him in prison as he mounts a comeback bid for the White House. New York Attorney General Letitia James is seeking $250 million in fines and other restrictions.
This is a case that should have never been brought. It's a case that should be dismissed immediately. The fraud was on behalf of the court. The court was the fraudster in this case. They made references to assets that were very valuable, and they said they had no idea. They had no idea what the numbers were when they said $18 million for Mar-a-Lago, and it's 50 to 100 times that amount by any estimation.
Donald Trump, in our case against him, other defendants, and the Trump organization. He rambled, he hurled insults, but we expected that. At the end of the day, the documentary evidence demonstrated that, in fact, he falsely inflated his assets to basically enrich himself and his family. He continued to persistently engage in fraud.
And finally, the Grenadian government has announced the commencement of its land tenure regularization program that puts some citizens one step closer to obtaining land titles. A statement from the Ministry of Agriculture says it aims to provide deeds of ownership to citizens who have been continuously occupying Crown lands for residential purposes for more than 10 years, and those who may have been granted Crown lands and who may have paid or are currently paying for such lands over a period of years without being granted a pathway to ownership. Government representatives are expected to visit numerous areas to acquire essential information before the successful initiation of the program. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was November 7th. Then in our news at 7:30, we are just about 2 weeks away from the upcoming by-election in West GB and Bimini. The new polling divisions are revealed. And still on Grand Bahama, we'll tell you the freak accident happening there today. We'll tell you how an elderly woman ran into a gas station storefront when our news returns. Welcome back to our news. Our What to Watch segment is back with your close-up look at what's on RTV, including last year's holiday favorites, which you can see all over again this month. Holiday movies will help you get your festivities started with your favorite Hallmark holiday movies in November. Showing started yesterday and will continue for the rest of the month. Christmas at Castle Hart airs tonight at 8 p.m. Then tomorrow at 8 you can see Christmas at the Plaza. Then a little earlier on Thursday at 5 p.m. is Ice Castles, plus Friday at 9 you'll see Sparkle. And of course, the holiday movie classics continue into the weekend. On Saturday at 8 is The Next Stop, Christmas. And on Sunday at 9 p.m., A Holiday in Harlem. Be sure and check your programming guide for more great television right here on RTV. Well, it's time now to turn our spotlight on events that shaped the day that was November 7th. Take a look. On this day in Bahamian history in 1775, Governor of Virginia John Murray, known as the Earl of Dunmore, issued a decree that was later proclaimed on November 14th to be known as the Dunmore Proclamation or Dunmore's Emancipation Proclamation. The order imposed martial law in the colony and also declared all indentured servants, Negroes, or others to be free provided that they joined the British Army. Many enslaved persons took up this offer and joined the British Army and formed the Ethiopian Regiment. Members fought with the words "Liberty to Slaves" embroidered on their uniforms when fighting during the American War of Independence. After the war ended in 1783, some of those soldiers, or black loyalists, settled in the colony of the Bahama Islands. Then in 1841 was the most successful slave revolt in U.S. history. It took place aboard a ship called the Creole that sailed from Virginia. On the night of November 7th, as the Creole approached the Bahamas, the slaves attacked the crew, killing one man and wounding the captain. They seized all arms on board and took possession of all documents related to their subjugation. They threatened to throw the officers and crew overboard if they were not taken to an English colony in the area. Upon arriving at Nassau on November 9th, The ship was boarded by black Bahamians who declared the group free under British colonial law. And in 1866, the first Mass was held at St. Francis Xavier Cathedral in Nassau. The newly finished cathedral on West Street was the first Catholic church in the Bahamas. The Mass was offered by Father A.J. Ryan of the Archdiocese of New York. Well, the British Legion Bahamas branch and family of Bahamian veterans gathered at the Veteran Cemetery this past Saturday for a wreath-laying ceremony as part of the remembrance season. Symbolic wreaths in memory of Bahamians who fought and died in world wars of the 20th century, as well as all fallen soldiers, were presented, and family members laid their own wreaths on the graves of their loved ones. The daughters of late Comrade Reuben Hamilton shared their feelings on how and why it's important to still be remembered.
To me, it means a lot. We have to keep a legacy alive for our siblings who are just coming up. Give them memories of their grandfather. And so today we are proud to represent him.
We also want our nieces and nephews, grandnieces and nephews, to know that their grandfather sacrificed his life for this country and for us as individuals, not only as family members, but as Bahamians in general.
My father really was a leader, and I think he got his training from the army. He was not a very loud, strict disciplinarian, but certainly he was a very strong disciplinarian, and his focus was you have to succeed and you have to serve God and your family.
Also present was Edward Nemore, the grandson of Comrade Jeremiah Nemore, who was the oldest Bahamian World War II veteran who lived to be 100 years old before his passing earlier this year.
It means a lot to the family to know that he served his time for this country. He gave his heart and his soul out to represent this country for the better best. And a lot of it is not highlighted today, but we wish to bring a lot of recognition to it. That amount of his statue, meaning 100 years old, is a milestone, and we'd like to celebrate that with the British Legion.
All right, what a legacy. To watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, you can visit ournews.bs. It's going to do it for us in News at 7. Joining us now is Italia Hall with the latest headlines. Happy Tuesday, Italia.
Happy Tuesday, Ken.
Thanks almost so much. Middle of the week.
Almost there?
Yeah.
Almost there. All right, thanks so much. Well, we are just about 2 weeks away from the upcoming by-election in West Grand Bahama and Bimini, and we'll tell you about a freak accident on the island of Grand Bahama. Here are your latest headlines. By-election countdown first tonight on Our News Live at 7:30. The polling divisions revealed for the upcoming by-election in the West Grand Bahama and Bimini constituency. This as one of the candidates hoping to become the next area representative, responding to concerns from residents. Also, Shantytown residents asking government to stay in the illegal structures, claiming they're willing to pay. And later, a freak accident leaving a gas station convenience store in shambles in Grand Bahama.
And she just jumped in the car. She probably thought the car was in reverse, so she slammed gas and it was in driving seat, and all you whoosh.
We've got an eyewitness account when Our News Live at 7:30 returns.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Doctors Hospital's reimagined primary care. We've invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. Your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new, modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnosis and true personalized treatment begin. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshos.com.
Have you heard that sound? It's the sound of us. Since our origins, we burst music. Our sounds mixed together. So let us hear your sound too. Your sound of passion, of joy, of friendship, the sound of your style and the beat of your night. It's time to play together the sound of Guinness, the sounds of greatness.
Welcome to our news and thank you for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. The West Grand Bahama by-election polling divisions have been released. Come November 22nd, there will be some 14 polling divisions for just over 6,000 registered voters to cast their vote. Polling divisions 1, 2, and 3 will be at the West End Primary School. Polling divisions 4, 4B, 5, and 5A will be located at the Holmes Rock Primary School. As for voters in polling divisions 6 and 7, they will be at the Martintown Primary School. Over on the island of Bimini, polling division 8 is at the Louise MacDonald High School, and 8A, the Cat Key Yacht Club. Polling division 9 is at Our Ladies in St. Stephen's, while polling division 10 is at Holy Name Catholic Church. Polling divisions 11 and 11A are at the Mount Zion Baptist Church Hall in Baileytown, Bimini. And polling divisions 12, 13, and 14 will be located at the 8 Mawak High School in West Grand Bahama. Well, as we get closer to the by-election set for November 22nd, many are calling Coalition of Independence leader Lincoln Bain a dark horse in the race. Bain will go up against the Progressive Liberal Party's Kingsley Smith, Free National Movement's Bishop Ricardo Grant, as well as 2 independents, Turnil Burrows and Daquan Swain. Some residents in West Grand Bahama told us they feel the COI leader will present a challenge. Our news team asked Bain about this narrative.
People say that I'm a dark horse in the race, but what I say is that the people of this constituency finally have a horse in the race. The people of the Bahamas finally have a horse in the race, someone who is going to fight for them, look out for them and not for party. All right, I'm not here to look out for the COI. We're an activist group, and we're only using the political platform because that is the way to bring change.
Bain, who was officially nominated at the Mount Zion Baptist Church Hall in Russelltown, Grand Bahama yesterday, also says more focus needs to be placed on voters in Bimini.
A lot of the constituents down there are actually from Nassau Nassau and Freeport, and a lot of them live in the dorms. And our sentiments after being there and walking the ground is that they want change, and they're going to vote for change.
Well, a freak accident at a local gas station in Freeport, Grand Bahama, going viral earlier this morning. As you can see in these pictures, smashed glass inside the gas station's convenience store. According to eyewitnesses, the navy blue vehicle in the video crashed into the storefront, leaving it in shambles. When our news team arrived on the scene, work crews were cleaning up the mess and could be seen trying to reorganize the store. Elijah Williams, a pump attendant at the gas station, explaining the ordeal.
I was walking over. I see the woman was rowing. They say it wasn't no more cigarettes. So then she just jumped in the car. She probably thought the car was in reverse. So she slammed gas and it was in driver's seat. And I hear bush. And then she drive through the glass.
Well, it doesn't appear as if anyone was injured. Management declined to comment on the situation. This Grand Bahama resident was surprised to hear what took place. He says initially he thought the company was renovating the store.
I think what they need to do now is put some steel beams in the front of this now. Because, you know, some people just come here and have their car still running too. That's a bad thing. Have your car running when you're here too. Yeah. You know, so that's really what they need to do now is put some steel beams in the front. So in case any cars come here again and they misimpress gas and run in, they can run into the steel beam.
All right, well, we've got more from the crime beat coming up in just a bit, including the robbery of a pastor. But first, the All Saints Way Shanty Town is the next unregulated community set to be demolished, according to Ministry of Works officials. While our Joshua Williams was on the ground in the southern New Providence Shanty Town, where he spoke to residents.
My husband Bahamian, I'm Bahamian, I have 4 children Bahamian, 4 passport Bahamian. Where I could go, I don't have no place to go.
With the Cool Acres Shanty Town now only a pile of rubble and ash, the All Saints Way Shanty Town is next to be torn down. Our news team visiting the community where structures were clearly marked with eviction notices and numbers. Our guide and translator took us through the unregulated community that had advanced structures, a vast difference from the Cool Acres Shanty Town. The majority of the homes we visited were furnished with tiles, appliances, and utilities. The general consensus throughout the community: give us more time.
I see it right for they to break my place and I ain't got nowhere to go. That ain't make no sense to me. See, they saying where I can go and where all these people can go.
I asked Bayman, give me 6 months. I try next apartment.
Bahamas government, I need a favor from you all, man. I need you all, please, man.
One of the residents, a single mother of 4, says she has nowhere to go.
I don't know. I don't have money. I don't have nothing. So my husband, see, your husband can't die, so he come looking place for me. Because he die, I don't have nobody. I don't have family. I don't know.
Now, the majority of residents we spoke to claim that the houses and the property that they occupy were leased to them by Bahamian landowners. They say with demolition on the way, they now feel betrayed.
The person who was put us there, you don't stand up, you don't be there. If he was there just like mistake like that, we could be, you understand, we could be strong. But he don't want to stand up with us at all. When time for him, when he used to collect his money, he comes straight there, collect his money. Why now? We need him. Even he cannot do nothing for us, but stand up with us. Show us. We used to be close one time.
After years of investing and building, residents say they're willing to stay, even if it means a lease payment to government.
They need to work the situation out of the way. Tell the people, just pay them, man. You understand?
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Josh. Well, the Prime Minister was tight-lipped today as reporters asked questions regarding the recent fire and demolition of the Cool Acres community. That Cool Acres fire began around 4 p.m. on Saturday and resulted in the burning of around 80% of the unregulated community, according to officials on the scene. After being repeatedly asked if he had any concerns about the fire, Prime Minister Davis only had this to say.
No concerns over the burning down the Shanty Downs? No questions to the guys. No questions to the guys.
All right, well, another beautiful evening outside the Our News studio, but you may have to pull out your sweater soon as a cold front is approaching. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center live with more. Greg.
Yeah, pleasant weather expected for the remainder of the week, and then we expect a cold front by the weekend, Saturday, Sunday time frame. But it's going to warm up slightly, but it still will be a pleasant week upcoming. Right now it's 78 degrees outside and mostly clear skies. The clouds are basically gone. Your winds are out of the east-northeast at 9 miles per hour, and it feels like a very comfortable 78 on the outside. Satellite radar composite, nothing happening across us. High pressure remains in charge. No real clouds, anything out there, no rainfall. Just a few spotty showers in the Florida Straits and the Gulf Stream that will move towards the southwest as we have a northeasterly flow. That ridge will build back across us and into the Atlantic for the next several days, and we expect winds to start turning more east, southeast, and warm temperatures expected by the end of the week. That's a quick check on conditions around the island. Stick with us to look at the extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on Our News, that murder on Key West Street has residents on edge with questions now about enhanced police presence. Also, a pastor robbed in New Providence. We'll show you the video making the rounds on social media. Plus, the work continues at a once thriving institution in the city of Freeport. We speak exclusively with the principal when Our News returns. A video making the rounds on social media shows what appears to be a man on a bicycle breaking into a parked truck. And get this, the truck was parked outside a church and it belonged to a pastor. The video was released by police who said the incident happened around 7:30 p.m. outside of the Five Porches of Deliverance Church. Police also said a backpack containing his passport and other personal items was stolen. Now, we reached out to the church, but officials declined to comment. Police are searching for the suspect. A 27-year-old woman and a 41-year-old man were arrested by officers from Operations Secure City and the K-9 unit following the discovery of an illegal firearm and a significant amount of dangerous drugs in their residence. It happened around 10:35 last night after officers acting on intelligence executed a search warrant at a residence on Quintine Alley, where they discovered inside the home an assault rifle, ammunition, and marijuana. The weight and value of the dangerous drugs are unknown at this time. Residents reacting to a shooting incident on Key West Street, killing one man and leaving another in hospital in stable condition. This bystander, who was in the area visiting family members, said she believes more needs to be done.
We need more police. We need more police to be in the area watching, because this is some dangerous time and you have to have more police to be watching, because it's a It's a baby for me, baby for you. You understand what I'm saying?
Police tells us 2 masked gunmen started shooting in the area last night. One of the gunmen killed his accomplice and left the scene. Another man was injured in the shooting. Meanwhile, this resident who wanted to remain anonymous was asked if he thinks enhanced police patrol would prevent instances like these.
Are you serious? You serious? Or you just thought is that a joke?
What do you think is the solution?
The police protection is not actually an issue. Because at the end of the day, guys do stuff any day, broad daylight, night. It doesn't make a difference.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, a Grand Bahama school on a journey to rebuild. Hear from the principal who says the school is on the road to success.
Coach Yo and the Rebels return to the court and see which college football player got open over the weekend. Don't go anywhere. Our sports is coming up next.
And nice temperatures around the island on this Tuesday as we approach the middle of the work week. Greg is back when our news continues. This is our news. Welcome back. Grand Bahamian coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen makes her season debut, and a Bahamian college football player makes a big play for his team. But just before we go to Tage, we would like to wish you a happy birthday from the entire news team. Here's our Tage Adley with a check on sports. Tage.
Thanks, Ataya. Good evening. Welcome to Our Sports. I'm Tage Adderley. Coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen and the University of Mississippi Rebels had their best season in over 3 decades last year, making it to the NCAA Sweet 16. Their bid to top that began yesterday. The Ole Miss Rebels routed the Queen's University Royals 91-44 in their season debut. Snutter Collins led the way for the Rebels with 17 points off the bench, while Madison Scott added 15 and 10 rebounds. Ole Miss returns a veteran team with a ton of experience. Here's what Coach Yo had to say about her squad.
We've been playing for a while together, but we not like this. So we went to Italy and played. So there's not a lot that my team surprises me with right now. It's really holding them to the standard and making them perform every single time they step out on the floor.
Now, the Rebels will have a big test in their second game when they take on the Oklahoma Sooners on Thursday. Keeping things in college, we told you about Prince Strawn a couple weeks ago. The Boise State receiver made some plays for his team in key moments over the weekend. Strawn saw action late in Saturday's game against Fresno State as the Broncos were attempting to mount a comeback, completing a 22-yard catch and run for his team down 27-20. It would be the freshman's only catch of the game, but it came in a huge moment. The Broncos would lose to Fresno State 37-30 to fall to a 4-5 record on the season. Strawn has all the ability. Hopefully he can get on the field for a few more snaps as the season wears on. That's all the sports we have for today. I'm Tage Adderley.
Still ahead on our news tonight, Queens College sister school in Grand Bahama is bouncing back.
St. Paul's is a unique school in that it's a small school, but the student body is unique in the sense that they are very much committed to learning.
Hear about the school's plan to increase enrollment numbers and warm temperatures in the capital today, but we can expect some cooler weather soon. Greg will tell you all about it when our news returns. Stay with us. Welcome back to our news. Nice weather conditions to start off the work week. Wondering what else we can expect? Well, Greg is back in the Weather Center with your weather details. Greg?
Yeah, thanks again, Natalia, and welcome back, everybody, for a fine look at weather. We expect some pretty nice conditions over the next couple of days. A ridge of high pressure is dominating our weather, and that ridge is actually at the surface in the Gulf of Mexico, and it extends across our area towards the east. Also in the upper levels, we also have a ridge of high pressure in the Western Caribbean Sea, that is going to binding with that surface ridge that's going to provide us with mostly dry conditions. We're going to see the wind starting to pick up for the balance of the week as that pressure gradient starts to tighten across the central and southeast Bahamas. So caution flags will be going up by Thursday. But all in all, it should be pretty nice. Of course, we are 23 days from the end of the official Atlantic hurricane season, and there's really nothing out there. We expect things to remain quiet for the next 7 days, and looks as though we may even see that continuing through the balance of the month. Boating conditions, nice on the waters tomorrow. Northeast to east winds, 10 to 15 knot, seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Your low tide will be at 9:50 tonight with a high tide at 3:58 in the morning. And of course, those winds once again will be tightening up beginning on Thursday and into the remainder of the week. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, beautiful conditions expected, pleasantly sunny, and those temperatures will stay comfortable in the mid to low to mid 80s. Nighttime temperatures will be in the low to mid 70s, and of course, we don't expect much in terms of any rainfall. That's a look at our weather. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Well, a Grand Bahama educational institution is returning to its former glory following a series of challenges in recent years. I recently spoke with the principal of St. Paul's Methodist College, and she's optimistic about the school's future.
St. Paul's is a unique school in that it's a small school, but the student body is unique in the sense that they are very much committed to learning once you have the correct tools to teach them with.
St. Paul's Methodist College has had its share of challenges over the years. You may remember classrooms on the school's campus had serious issues, forcing the school to move into a former hotel on the Mall Drive. But now they've returned to the school's original campus on Clive Avenue in Freeport. The student body decreased significantly to just 100 students. Although small in size, Principal Sophia Howden says their students are committed to learning.
When we have committed students, supportive parents, and teachers willing to teach, that's a recipe for success.
The principal says they're still working to make repairs on campus, adding that last year there was a fundraising effort that the business community supported.
Between, I believe it was February and June, we raised about $13,000. Very quickly, just like that. And so for those who say the support isn't there in the community, they haven't reached out to the businesses that are here because they are ones that give.
Still, there are a number of structures that need to be renovated. The school has produced many greats in the country, from politicians, lawyers, journalists, and Christian leaders. Howden is optimistic that the school will regain its prominence. She says lots of graduates are helping out.
And I think once we are involving the alumni, the excitement builds again.
All right, great news for St. Paul's. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.